right, guys, welcome back to another live show. Hope everyone's doing good. Um, so we might have Brent from the Tall Ones come on. He might not be able to show up. He's a little bit busy, so he might show up a little later. If not, then I think we'll have him on for next week. So, uh, so we'll have to see about that. So hopefully everyone's doing good. We had a pretty interesting week, and last night actually, me and my girlfriend went out and went out to scout around and stuff, and actually got some pretty interesting activity with some pretty interesting findings. Actually, I think she's got to give me those pictures and stuff still. And so hopefully we'll pop some of these pictures up. I think I can. I got to put them into a little video, and we have videos to show too of what happened. So we'll talk a little bit about that here as we warm up a little bit. What a pretty sucky winter it's been here in Michigan. Actually, it's hardly any snow. It's been really warm this past couple days, like a whole month actually, and it feels so just weird being out without a coat on in the middle of February. But we we go out to some local areas and stuff around here. In Michigan, you don't really have to go far outside of a city to potentially get Sasquatch areas and activity around them. One of the most the most populated county, one of them at least, Macomb County in southeast Michigan. When you look on Google Maps and you look at it, you look at the population density, many people would laugh and scoff off the idea as Sasquatch is being sighting in and around the county. It's very suburbanized and basically nothing but swaths of suburbanized areas all the way to Detroit. But in fact, there are multiple and recent Bigfoot sightings. We're talking hundreds of yards from people's houses in the middle of millions and millions of people. I mean, we're talking if they're in these kind of places, they could be anywhere in America, because they are getting into the fringes of developed areas and actually cruise down the neighborhoods at night, it seems like. And so if you guys look up Macomb County of Michigan and stuff, you guys can get a good idea of how preposterous it would seem to Bigfoot would be there. But in fact, we have a number of sightings, a number of recent sightings, a 911 call that actually was taken seriously, and the cops actually went out there and investigated the report. So it's very interesting. Michigan is pretty interesting as a state. The whole Great Lakes region, which is multiple states in Canada, is very healthy place for these Sasquatches to develop and thrive. But Michigan has an ever-growing number of sightings each and every day. I just every time and week and stuff, it grows by leaps and bounds. It seems like we have over well over 2,000 sightings reports here in Michigan. These are documented and cataloged by Val Zavala, a good data miner, who is doing a lot of great work and cataloging, analyzing, going through thousands, hundreds of Bigfoot reports a day, thousands and thousands, thousands every month, all across America, and actually is doing the work to categorize them and stuff. I know in Michigan and stuff, he has his own specific stuff, but other states, I believe he's working on stuff. So, and the data shows that basically in all the states, the numbers are the numbers that you get from the BFRO and the numbers that you generally see are highly underreported. The at least here in Michigan, I believe it's I think they have like 200 sightings, if that, maybe a little bit more for Michigan. When it's actually more like the numbers that we have is 2,000, and it's above 2,000, well above. All right. So it's going to take me a minute to get these pictures of last night up and ready for you guys. So I was kind of actually relying on Brent to come on. We're going to talk. We're going to have a whole totally different show, but with him being busy and stuff, I'll have to get these up and ready for you guys, which will could take a quick minute. It could take a little while. So, but last night was very interesting. We have audio to go through, and interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff, actually. We're gonna wait a little bit more to talk about that, but it's always amazing to when you go out there to where and make home. I can't remember the exact crossroads and stuff, but there's some in the middle of just outside of basically in some wooded areas, just outside of town, and I might pull up Google Map here in a little bit to show you guys exactly some of the stuff. There's Bigfoot reports next to the Detroit airports and the airport next to Romulus, and there's sightings and stuff all across there, and we'll probably show that here in a little bit. Actually, if we could do a whole show of on Bigfoot maps and showing you guys a little bit of what to look for. But we ended up finishing our Bigfoot scout trip investigation, and it was pretty interesting. But when we got home and stuff and we were relaxing, we were sitting here, and me and my woman are just we're talking, we're on the phones and stuff, and all of a sudden we hear our kids laughing. Haha, it's funny, you know. We hear it, ha 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 ha. And I look at her, and she looks at me, and we ha 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 ha. And we instantly realize that, hey, all our kids are at the babysitters. There's no kids at our house right now, and yet we heard our son laughing at us, like he's laughing in the other room, clear as day, interrupting what me and her are talking, focused on. And the second time we heard the laughter, and the third time, it was like, wow, you know, confirmation of this. That's not our son, because our son's not here. And it was pretty freaky, to the point to we actually just went out and got security cameras, some pretty decent, good cameras that will catch motion and will detect sound, motion. Like these things are going to go off pretty much at anything. So, yep, that was the final straw. Um, I've told you guys before that my girlfriend and we've experienced some ghost stuff. I showed pictures of her being attacked. She had a big handprint on her belly when she was pregnant. Before I had met her, she had big old welt. Like when you smack someone as hard as you can, it leaves a big old handprint. She had one on her pregnant belly. She had woken up to, and of course we had shown pictures of ghost face and evidence that she's captured over the years on her own. And we've experienced stuff, hearing stuff. We've heard stuff recently before this, a week ago. We heard um, in the morning it was crashing and stuff, and stuff fell off the top of the fridge. Um, and but with this hearing, our son laughing, it was and it was pretty bad. It was weird. It was loud, and it was creepy because it sounded exactly like him, and that was it. So we got some pretty good cameras. We got them set up, and they can see pretty much everything. So if anything happens, any audio actually just abruptly sounds off in the middle of the night, we're gonna run the cameras all night. But we have these cameras can be set up to even if a mouse farts, these things will turn on and pick it up and automatically record. Actually, we tested it, and I can whisper at the end of the hallway, and it can pick the audio up. So these are pretty decent cameras. I was impressed. So maybe we might get some paranormal action evidence of, hey, this just stuff that goes on. So we're hoping not. We actually got these for deterrence and stuff, but um, it's just sometimes things happen. I mean, we don't know how to explain it or anything, so we're just doing our best to be able to observe it and capture any evidence. Right. So yeah, just had a little bit of change of plans and stuff. So I'll actually put the link in the show because I was going to do that anyways. After me and Brent were talking for a little bit, have other people come on and join on in the conversation, but we can pretty much have anyone show up, join up, and talk about whatever you guys want to. Honestly, does it even have to be Bigfoot? It could be about cars, and I really anything really. So the link's in the chat for anyone brave enough to come on. Just keep it respectful and stuff, and no try to keep the swearing to a minimum. And sometimes obviously we go off and can be like a sailor, but sometimes you have to be able to use other language besides swearing. Okay, that's gonna take a little minute. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have a little bit of video, a little audio that we're still going over to go show you guys, because we actually did have some pretty interesting stuff that happened. So we ended up going to this spot and then just walking around, basically not really intending to do much besides basically show up the area and see what happens. We're just going out there and observing basically wildlife and nature in the essence of things. And we did film some little creatures and some deer and stuff. And then when we got a little bit deeper in the middle of this area, I would say I think we might have heard something first, or we actually found this piece of bark actually that I'll show you guys once I download for you guys. and make the video. But we found this, which caught my eye really, really fast because it was a piece of bark of an old, dead, rotten tree. But anyways, so the one side of the bark, obviously, the outside is weathered and worn and stuff, and um, like normal and stuff. And the other side was had been not weatherized and stuff, not exposed to the weather as much. So right off the bat, what caught my eyes, everything on the trail is uh, leaves and frosted over snow and stuff. There's not really much fresh debris that fell onto things. There was a lot of new storm damage around, but when we walked up onto this thing, I noticed the bright yellow, yellowish tannish color of the piece of wood, which stuck out even in the darkness. And went over. I flipped it over, and when I flipped it over onto the uh, side where it was exposed, it was all frosted over, right? So this side's all frosted over, right? But we found it like this. And if you guys know things that frost, when things frost over, they frost on the top. It doesn't frost underneath without frosting on top. And we literally pretty much found it to where it seemed like something picked it up off the ground. It was frosted over. Something picked it off the ground, put it on in front of the trail, in front of us, and set it onto the back side of it, the side that wasn't frosted over. So when I picked it up, and I'm thinking, well, everything else is frosted over. This is not frosted over yet. That's very interesting. I flipped it over. It's frosted over. It's one of those things that's very interesting. That it just begs the question of was it placed? Was it placed on, not only placed there, but placed on purpose uh, for us to find potentially? And so we got some pictures. I should have took some video of it, but when we picked this up and we were analyzing stuff, all of a sudden we heard there was knocks going off and there was crashing and stuff going a couple hundred yards away from us down the trail that we were going to go down. And it was just very, very interesting how that was going off. I did check the audio a little bit on that. It's a little hard to hear the big crash on that, but we ended up trying to document that and stuff. I was pretty flabbergasted about it with stuff going off. Then we headed straight towards the sounds. Of course, it was on the other side of a creek system that we couldn't cross. We waited and listened. We moved up about 100 yards or so, slowly listening, and we heard a little bit of maybes and stuff. But then all of a sudden, there was a point where we started hearing stuff on both sides of us. We started hearing crashing, and I think crashing basically, and then there was this loud, distinctive wood knock cracking sound that was very close to us that we did capture on audio, because I did skim around and kind of check because every time I was running audio, I was running night vision, trying to capture these things on night vision, but you could see it was amazing because it was a perfect, beautiful, cloudless night, and the moon was still about half moon and bright enough that we could to be out there, and it was about 30 degrees out at nighttime. So I've tried to we can see it pretty far in the darkness actually, and there's no leaves and stuff, but when I turn the night vision on, the RR light is bouncing off twigs and stuff that's 5 feet in front of me, 10 feet, and it's not able to pierce through all that. But we were able to see well past that, and so we tried to capture some of that, got some audio. So we got some crashing noises and stuff that you guys will be able to hear and stuff. We'll get that out for next week, and um, it was pretty interesting. And we, of course, just kept our cool and kept trucking along and tried to, because if stuff's really going on, okay, let's just move out of the area. And if stuff's really going on, and if it follows you around the area, that just comes compounding the evidence in the favor of something really is going on, because normal animals are not going to follow you 100 yards and keep messing with you. The wind and a random tree is not going to get up and walk and follow you around the area, which we had a very unique situation again, which I've experienced in this area. We heard this tree creaking sound with no wind. It would be no wind or barely any wind. We would hear it. Then, when the wind would actually pick up and be very loud, we would not hear it at all. We heard that sound follow us into a couple areas. So, again, we kept moving and stuff, and we ended up finding a actual possible tree manipulation. There was a piece of a tree that was pushed over and actually snaked through. It fell over like this, and then it loops over this way, and actually goes in between a number of trees and is pushed directly against a pine tree. And if you look above, because if it's standing there, it has to fall, right? So if it falls, well, maybe it could fall and then bounce over, and it could bounce and do all sorts of things. But when you look above it, I mean, there's no path for it to fall. Like, if it's going to fall, it's going to get stuck in this tree. If it gets past that tree, there's a whole nother section of trees for it to get stuck in. If it gets past that, then it still has to bounce and weave its way around. Very interesting, So we did get some videos of that. And hopefully have a lot on the audio. So overall, it was pretty interesting. I would have to say so. And then, of course, my girl was out there, and she was amazing, a champ, not scared whatsoever. In fact, when we actually had activity, we actually were excited to go after it stuff instead of being scared and not trying to know what it was. We actually did hear we heard some raccoons out there that were fighting. We heard I believe an owl that was out there. We heard response at the very end. Took some pictures, I think, of some little rodent in a tree. We got him on the night vision and stuff. I'm not sure what it was, but it was very easy to pick up eye shine on the cameras and from the headlamps and stuff. So overall, it was just really very interesting stuff. Of course, we're not going to prove Bigfoot exists by any means, but I think we'll have some evidence to maybe make you guys, scratch your heads and wonder. So we're excited and stuff. We're got some big plans and stuff. We'll have audio and stuff running. I got my audio recorder fixed and ready to go. I was having issues with it, but I finally figured it out and have 257 hours of audio plus another 500 worth of storage space. So we're going to try to do some long-term audio. And we only got about another month of winter, so we're going to be doing some long-term audio, setting out trail cams, stuff like that, going out every weekend, getting ready to get into the big scheme of things as our schedules are working out a little bit better now. Kids are getting a little bit older, and to school and different bedtimes. It's a a lot easier to get out uh, for me. So that's a pretty interesting one. Well, I'll answer this question from Texas Jack. You don't have to apologize. If this is common knowledge for the regular viewers, I apologize. Um, but may I ask, what's your personal goal slash end game when you do field work? Do you what do you want to achieve? Why do you do this? Oh man, the most simplest thing I would have to say is I am after the truth of what's out there. Pretty much it. From my getting into this as a kid of the stories and the stories my dad would tell me and telling me about, there's this film that he's seen in the movie theaters that shows Sasquatch, the Patterson film. Watching and reading books as a young kid, uh, exposing me to this like wondrous this mystery, not only Bigfoot but everything else. Um, that was a spark that grew and grew with passion, and then I finally had my first encounter, full blown encounter at at 13, coming basically face to face with this thing. It bluff charged me, let's just say, for better lack of terms, this going through the story. 30 feet away, face to face. I'm there for 2 minutes. I think I'm going to die. Thank goodness I didn't piss myself. But going back to my house and just ever since then, it's been this mystery that I seek, and going out there and having more experiences, more stuff happens. It always, even with all these experiences that happen, and all the amazement and things that you could possibly learn, there's a whole load of stuff that I have no idea about. I still need to learn, want to know. I want to see one face to face in the daytime. I want to see what they look like. I want to see, what they are, what everything about them. It's like when people say, "Oh, Bigfoot's discovered, that's it." It's like, no, that's like the beginning of Pandora's box. It's like until we have National Geographic documentaries on it, like we have on every other animal on the planet, showing exactly what they do day to day life, their mating rituals, their food habits, their hunting tactics. I mean, everything. How do they talk? The seeing their strength in action. Like, I mean, we need documentation of so much that, I mean, we're probably going to be doing this for next 100 years, um, properly. With all the drones and camera technologies, and it's coming. They're going to be discovered, and then it's going to be, how do we keep getting a camera in there 24/7, filming them, and it'll be a lot more easier. I say another 10, 20 years. Just technology is going to catch up. There's just no way for these things to hide from thermals, from drones with thermals. I mean, everything is just getting to be cheaper and more available to civilians that there's just no way. And I think the researchers and stuff are going out there and having the work done. They're getting some interesting results, and I think some are working towards building interactions that are repeatable, that you can potentially document and show evidence, potentially get them on film doing things. So it's just the excitement, it's the passion, it's an adventure. It's still kind of a boyhood dream, a kind of a kid in the candy store still, because here I am looking back and thinking, remember reading John's Green book on Sasquatches, and um, thinking, oh, I have to go to the Pacific Northwest. I have to go to Alaska. I have to move to Alaska to, find these creatures, to really study these creatures, to actually prove they exist. And then, of course, growing up and finding out, experiencing firsthand, wow, they're in Michigan. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere. It seems like there's thousands of reports. This is not just some rare needle in the haystack. Like these things are in a big, and especially recently, recent years and stuff. Like the population is huge. Like there's not a few and far between. Like there's a lot, you know, because I shouldn't be able to go out in the woods and have had a history of these encounters if they are so rare and about to go extinct. That doesn't make sense. I shouldn't be able to take my members and all the people who've went with me and all the people who have been with me and had encounters. If it's so rare and stuff, we shouldn't be able to go to Florida for the 168 and have encounters. We shouldn't be able to go up to the UP and have encounters. Like we shouldn't be able to continually have this stuff happen if it's a rare, dying, almost extinct species that's only found in the Pacific Northwest. So it's just growing, evolving, the subject and just the mystery, and I guess realizing things on my own about not only Bigfoot but about people. There's a lot of things you learn about people when you learn about Bigfoot because you deal with people, right? There's a lot of people in this community, as we say, that don't have integrity, are not honest, that want to make money, that straight up want to make money, and will probably do is no matter what, anything they can. You'll hear it from almost every major group, I think, has had issues with people in the group, money becoming an issue for people. They want to take more money, they want to make money, they want to hoax people and stuff. They want to glorify things, it's a lot easier to sell you guys a story than for you guys to eat up the evidence that is gathered. If I type up a nice fantasy story and say, I just got this email of this sighting, 99 of you guys, percent of you guys would probably believe it and eat it up. It'd probably be one of my best videos I'd ever put out. I get you guys, try to show you guys real potential evidence in the real time as we're filming it. I do really good, but these stories and stuff, that's where it's at. That's where it seems people gravitate towards. And so when you have big channels and you have people who talk and they're really good at talking and that's all they do, they don't really go out much, they don't get anything, they don't have anything to show, but they know how to talk, it becomes an issue because they're of no substance. What are they talking about? They're not going out there, they're not experiencing anything, they're not doing anything. And then when they do, you have to over dramatize stuff, like the Sasquatch watchers. I'll throw some names down. I had no idea who these guys are. They're pretty big. It seems like they have a really big following. Got some donation in the cash flow. But what I've seen from these guys, it's laughable because it's like something my 5-year-old would watch. Like it's those kind of videos of like, oh my god, these creepy houses, let's go in there, and oh my god, this stuff's happening, and oh my god, did you see that? There's stuff. It's nonstop. Something's always going. It's like everything is happening nonstop. Like every 10 seconds, there's something going on. Like something has to catch your attention and grabs you, or some shock to your system, like to keep you engaged. And it's very funny, honestly, because I'm looking at some of this stuff that they show, and it's like there was one instance where it just it appears to be they literally have this laser out there and are flashing it, and then one guy is claiming, I'm pretty sure he's claiming that he sees eye shine, and it's the laser that the other guy has on the camera. So it's just laughable. they are making coyote calls. They very distinctly coyote calls, and when they get responses of coyotes, they act shocked and exclaim Bigfoot, and it's this hooting and hollering, and it's very funny. And of course, they get responses. They're making coyote calls, like they are literally actively trying to get a response from coyotes, and then acting like they can't know the difference. They don't know the difference. Yeah, yeah, hippie thinks. Yeah, that's about right. Bigfoot phenomenon works just kind of like uh, the Rorschach test. I need glasses. I think I'm getting. I got. I took this when I was out there in the winter. I took the stick to the eyeball. I scratched my eyeball pretty good, and I got a little bit of damage. I've noticed because it's a little bit more fuzzy in my left eye than my right, which is unfortunate. But um, yeah, people think like they're aliens, like they're Nephilim, they're demons, they're ghosts, they're spirits, they're another tribe of people, like they're caveman leftovers, basically, or they're a tribe of people. They can talk, they have language, right, culture, stuff like that. There's people who think they're the Nephilim. There's the opposite side where I think there's a theory that they think that they're somehow connected with the lost blood of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, and it's connected with medieval paintings of these woodwoos and the paintings and legends of them in medieval times, and something to do with the whole this basically they are like a holy people of God instead of a Nephilim side. Basically, is what the gistic is. It's basically the opposite of the Nephilim idea. They're a secret race of good, angelic type of entities of God instead of being an evil angelic entities. Um, People think that they are, space aliens, or they're the Anunnaki slave labor force that was created before the humans. Of course, they were the slave labor force, and then humans were created, I guess. The legends of that. People point to in the Bible. People point to Jacob and Esau, I think it was his brother, who, of course, Jacob's mother, I believe, and him um, killed a goat, skinned the goat, and put the goat fur, goat hair. Goat hair is very, long kind of hair. Wrapped him on it so that when his father felt him, because he was blind, he felt his shoulders, he felt the hair of the goat, and blessed him with his brother's blessing and stuff because he tricked him and stuff. So people point to that. There's a whole host of things. People point to, of course, Orlando, what they can find in the fossil records. And there's a number of interesting candidates that could be possible. And it's all very interesting. It's all theories. Of course, we can't prove them yet. And that's why everyone gravitates to their own ideas of things, because they like the mystery. They kind of gravitate towards what they want it to be. Yes, Robert. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, if that's where they're from, the North Carolina Squatch Watchers, I don't know. I'm not impressed. Maybe they've actually had some real stuff happen, but the videos that I've seen, they're just like LARPing around, like live action role playing which is they're role playing this character of Bigfoot hunter, Bigfoot researcher. So it's this character they play. It's this act. It's not. There's no real research being done there. It's more or less entertainment. Um, you know, throwing up anything. Everything's a Bigfoot on there, and I feel like that's what sells. Obviously, look at the views. That's what sells, right? But there's no vetting of evidence. There's no discussions of on. I don't know, man. It's really hard to explain. And this is what it's very unique is the people of this community are great, wonderful. I've met some of the best people, some of the best people in my life I've met, actually. Some of the worst people I've met is because of this stuff too. So it's a double-edged sword. And there's people, there's very few people who actually want to do this the right way, who have the integrity to do this, right? Like, to go out there, to always be honest, to not hoax, to not over exaggerate shit that's going on, right? Because it's fucking easy, man. I could go out there and have a bunch of just random animals make sounds and be like, "Oh, it's Bigfoot," and fake it in a way. Do you guys believe it? And then, since I could present it in a way, you guys would believe it, right? That's no integrity, right? That's no character. It's like an empty, hollow shell of what you should be, which is going out there and honestly just being yourself and honestly experiencing stuff and just being honest about it. You don't have to fake stuff. Like, if nothing fucking happens, nothing happens. Like, that's, if nothing happens, why am I going to make a video of nothing going on? Like, I've done that sometimes, but I don't feel like doing that. That's so dumb. And that's just me personally, right? Everyone's different, right? Sometimes people like to see just people walking around in the woods because they can't get out there and stuff. But experiencing with people, taking people out in the woods, that's how I personally can determine 100%, 1,000% if someone is the real deal, how experienced someone is in this subject and being out in the woods. And that is very unique because I've been out with federal agents. I've been out with law enforcement. I've been out with people with the type of work skills and stuff that normally you would esteem, wow, these guys are, very capable, can handle themselves and stuff. But when you get out in the woods and you start having activity and Bigfoot stuff, like that shit's out the fucking window, man. It's like it does not translate that well, at least for those people. I can't say for everyone. You basically are starting from zero. If you don't have experience being out there with Bigfoot and doing this stuff, I mean, it's almost like you start off with zero, at least for some of those people. Very quickly, if you're bullshit and you fake stuff and you over sensationalize stuff and you're out there with me, it's pretty easy to tell because when real shit's going on, it's a lot different than the fake stuff people try to present as real stuff to try to trick a group. You have one person there who'll hear something, maybe they'll hear something pretty interesting, and then all of a sudden, the one guy who's faking everything, he'll lead everyone to thinking this is Bigfoot instead of, hey, this is a normal animal. This is just a raccoon going off. Something explainable, something that's actually real. Instead, they're going to steer everyone and make it flow into this is Bigfoot and this is Bigfoot activity. And you can trick people, and like Brent would attest to, you can trick people into thinking Bigfoot's underground, making a tree, making trees noises, and is able to do different things. But in reality, it was the wind. It was something simple. It was fantasy. But people wanted to believe, and people will believe a con artist, people who can talk really well. So, and so experiencing that and being around people and just my own experience of just being by my fucking self and having shit happen. When I'm out in the field and I experience someone like that, it's very easy to tell the bullshit because the bullshit stinks. It fucking stinks a lot out there. So there's a link in the chat. Come on, anyone can come on, of course. Um, I don't know if Brent's going to be here. Uh, he might not. I think he'll probably be here next week. So we'll have the show with him, and I'll probably have this evidence for you guys next week of the frost, the piece of wood that was frosted over that we found, flipped on its back, and some of the tree structure video I'll have up ready. Probably next week on the live show for you guys. We'll show that before getting into discussion with Brent or something, because I don't think it's going to be ready in time. All right, so here's a question from Robert. I have a question for you, Blake. Do you see anything worthwhile on trying to stay in a camp setting while researching and allowing Bigfoot to come to camp while having a camera and audio out? Yeah, we do that all the time. We don't stay in camp. Like when you say stay in camp, all right, so if you go out and you go out to a Bigfoot area and all you do is set up your camp and you stay in your camp, to me, I feel like that's hardly researching. I mean, you're basically just going on vacation. I mean, you're just camping, right? Research to me is like we set up our camp. Let's hurry up and set up the fucking camp. And then let's get out into the woods. Let's try to push into the deep woods off trail. Let's look at the map. Okay, there's this body of water. There's this swamp. Okay, let's head over here. Let's walk around this edge. Let's try to find evidence. Like we're out trying to probe the area. And then if something happens, maybe something will follow us back to camp where we have audio set up. We have cameras set up. So if something does happen, we're ready. But we don't just go to a spot and just stay at camp. Like that's just yeah, and that's 100% the reality of people and 100% okay. In which case, if all you can do is stay at camp, then by all means. When I say this, I kind of speak to the more healthy Bigfoot researchers who are just faking it, who, you know, say they go out deep in the woods and they just are just at camp and they are physically able to just go out there and do it, but they're not, and that just it's like, why are you doing half-ass the work? Like, or like, why are you wasting money? Like for people who are able to do that, like, why would you go to an area, spend all this money and not go looking and stuff like that? So when I talk about that, I'm not irking on old people or physically handicapped people, stuff like that. Like and the reality is we need people at camp. Like when we're gone and stuff, we've had people who stayed at camp, because they have injuries and stuff, and there's activity that fucking goes off because like a whole group of us leaves camps and starts doing other stuff. There's like one or two people left at camp. Like it gets pretty active for those one or two people. And we've actually had to come back to camp because people have actually said, this is getting a little bit too intense. So everyone has their own techniques and stuff. And if you go into a very remote area and you're camping, I think you have good chances of having activity. It's just my personal preference of leaving camp, going off trail, probing into the wilderness, stirring up stuff, coming and leading anything back to camp, because we're going to be at camp anyways, right? So no matter what, the camp's there. If anything was going to happen at camp, it's going to happen. But by probing and stuff, we can go deeper. We could have potential of finding different stuff have the potential of finding more evidence. And then if we have activity out in the wilderness and we have that same activity at camp, like I said, it just compounds the evidence of this is probably not a normal animal because a deer ain't gonna have do stuff out in the woods, and that deer's not going to follow you back to camp to do the same activity at camp. You know, um, so and there's armchair research is really good because you should be able to study and look at the data, look at sightings and stuff. And I sometimes harp on people, some people, because not everyone can do what everyone else can do, right? But I harp on people who are armchair quarterbacks and researchers who are able to, but won't go out there and go research. I harp on them a little bit, and I harp on everyone because I kind of want people to get off, stop being stale, and do a little bit more. If you're able to do more, let's do more. Especially with just getting out there. Too many people, I think, waste time analyzing, thinking about Bigfoot, reading about Bigfoot, talking about Bigfoot to other people, instead of just fucking go out in the woods, man. Just fucking go out there and do something. Like the simple act of setting foot out in the woods is 100% more of a success to find something than by years and years and years of talking to someone. Because if you don't go out there and to do something, what are you going to discover sitting at your chair, talking to your friends at your house? And so I harp on that. I harp on people because I hopefully knock some sense into people to like, hey, maybe I should do a little bit more. Yeah, I should just, simply just go out there. I've been thinking about this for a long time. It's about time I actually just go out and go to camp. And if all I do is stay at camp, then you did 100%, 1,000% more than what you would have done at home. And thereby your chances of finding anything goes up dramatically. So there's kind of reasons why I harp and dig on people. I'm not trying to just be an asshole. It's sometimes, people who are able to need to step up. I feel like I need to step up all the time to do better for my own research and myself in this when I'm out there. And I think people around, we should, because why the fuck have we found Bigfoot yet? Excuse my language, but come on now, like this is getting kind of old, right? So like something has to change, right? We need to change. Techniques need to change. Obviously, the way we've been doing it is not working. Looking for an experience and looking for evidence can be different things. Knocking in the dark to elicit a distant knockback is a great experience, but it is nothing to move the ball. Very true. Very true. I don't think it does anything to move the ball other than it's just more breadcrumbs of evidence that points to something abnormal happening, right? It's not really normal that wood knocks happen. So if you have, we have some pretty good wood knocks. If you have 1,000 baseball bats smacking a tree out there, and you can analyze them and you can look at them and you can see a distinct pattern, and possibly maybe if you went out there and found evidence and stuff, but just based on the audio and stuff, you could analyze it and find and determine, I'm not smart enough to do this, nor have the money and software to determine this, but you probably could determine if it's something smacking a tree based on the audio waves, or if it's a tree splitting apart and cracking apart, if you have a good enough audio clip and software and stuff like that, people who knows how to do that. Any kind of small evidence might not seem significant in moving the ball down the field, but it's all breadcrumbs that are going to add up to something, because I personally believe that in all evidence that is legit evidence, whether it's not accepted by everyone or not, there is let's say, micro data in there that you could find, because if it actually is real and stuff, there should be micro data that is going to be unique to Sasquatch, right? And unique Sasquatch vocal ranges. Only the only thing we think of smacking trees with other trees and wood is Sasquatch and stuff. We're not thinking deer's out there smacking, doing tree knocks. Footprints, if you had a catalog of footprints and stuff, maybe you could find individuals. There's some footprint casts that Cliff and Meldrum have that they think are the same individual, right? So while the more evidence and breadcrumbs you have, the bigger the data set you can potentially see and use, and you might be able to start pulling stuff from. So everyone's always after the grandiose fucking wedding cake perfectly baked and ready to go for you, but really what we really need to be studying and looking at and gathering is all these breadcrumbs so we can actually build this a breadcrumb cake with actual evidence and stuff, because we're not it's been 50 something years. It's been I'll say it's been a decade since I think a lot of hardcore research has been done since Monster Quest stuff's been going on, and like we're practically at the same place as we were a decade, 20 years ago, 50 years ago plus. We have some very interesting DNA evidence that amounts to nothing of unknown species, right? And so you would think that, oh, hey, we found this unknown species of DNA here in the United States. There's different states, different people have this stuff. You would think scientists would jump all over that. You would think that would be almost enough. And so if that's not even enough to get really the ball rolling of scientists, they're not giving grants, they're not getting loans, they're not getting public expeditions thrown out there. They're not trying to get backing, they're not getting support, and there's nothing going on. So if that's not accepted, there's some people in the community to say, why bother with all this little shit if like even the DNA that people find is not even convincing scientists? And it's like, well, it's a very negative approach. I think one day it will be proven, the scientists will be forced to look at all these breadcrumbs that we have to analyze and see, wow, this is actually something. Because in the future, all this breadcrumbs could be valuable. It's almost like with the DNA and law enforcement. There was law enforcement and murder crimes and stuff, and they knew, like, we have no way of like looking at this evidence properly. We can't determine what the fuck's going on. We can't determine the murderer. So but we're going to gather all the evidence that we can. 20 years later, 10 years later, decades later, new technology comes up, new techniques are taught, improvement happens, and therefore they can look back and find out, of course, DNA that matches, new techniques that show. They can find fingerprints, recover fingerprints that have been in the water for like 70 days or something like that. Like, so with Bigfoot, there's going to be better technology, better techniques. Scientists are actually going to accept Bigfoot. They're going to actually want to look into it. They're going to start finding things. And I think they're going to see correlations and find things and data in our breadcrumbs as citizen researchers and scientists that they're going to see, that's valuable. You have something there. And for years, people would laugh because it was horse shit. But I think one day, with the proper lighting and clarity, we can see things in a different way. That's why any evidence is value evidence, because if it's evidence and it proves to be not Bigfoot, then you have evidence that you can reference of, say, this is not Bigfoot, this is a duck. So when Jeff over and where he's at gets this audio and he's really flabbergasted about it and he doesn't know what it is, we can analyze, say, hey, it's a duck. It matches this one here, or we can get really good audio and say, hey, this is what we're looking for. Does anyone else have this? Or when we hear this out there, it's like, wow, that could be a potential Bigfoot, or that maybe most likely is because of all the audio that we seem to think is. No one agrees on practically any evidence that anyone else gets because it's a contest between I got better stuff than you, or you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I'm the real researcher because I know what I'm talking about, and all the evidence you have is horseshit because you're a dumbass out in the woods who doesn't know what he's doing. Like there's a lot of that instead of let's just figure out what is going on in my area. Let's figure out what the evidence you have. Let's work together to create a database of actual evidence that's kind of accepted, at least by, I don't know, accepted by a majority of researchers who are collaborating, who are going together to do this project. Because we need structured evidence that is accepted by the community. It doesn't have to be proof of Bigfoot, but it needs to be something that we can say, hey, when you're out there, like this is kind of what we're looking for. This is the footprints that we find and we kind of accept as possible Bigfoot. This is the audio that we kind of accept. It's not proof positive of Bigfoot, but it's acceptance that this is the stuff that we need. This is the stuff that if you get, please send to us because it's at the higher tier of what we're trying to get, instead of just a wild west of I have evidence, I post it, I share it to everyone. Either some people grab it, hey, it's fucking dog shit, hey, that's really really good. Some people want discussions, or sometimes there's no discussions at all, and then it's just left in the empty void. So I think there's a little bit more work that needs to be done on of analyzing everyone's breadcrumbs and coming together and trying to actually uh, figure it out and come to a standardized evidence that we can reference. So um, Jeff says, I agree with that. I feel many people are researching are simply looking for an experience. They aren't tactically searching for evidence. Many are looking for a story. I will admit that I'm not always out there tactically looking for evidence and stuff. Like we're on this trail. We found evidence that I think is, a piece of wood laid on the ground, got frosted over. Something picked it up, put it on the trail in front of us, and flipped it over and set it there where I noticed it wasn't frosted over. If I was, in the moment, things are going on. I'm excited. I want to there's activity going on over there. I want to go on over there to get to get the bigger, shinier evidence potential, right? But in reality, I should stop. I should look around the whole fucking area for footprints because if something put it there, something had to walk there and stuff. So even the moment in clear headedness, with everything going on, I'm not perfect and I don't do everything how I know it actually should be done or needs to be done. But at the same time, it's like there's so much when stuff's really going on. Like there's a lot of stuff going on, and you do want to kind of chase after the crashing sound that's happening over there. It's like, why bother for these footprints right here when there's crashing going on over there? Let's go chase after that. But in reality, there's evidence right there. Just stop, slow down, and look because that crashing sound might, it's probably going to keep, it's not going to go away, right? But if you go chase after stuff, then you forget about the footprints. You might lose the spot of the footprints. Time, weather changes the footprints. So a couple hours later, the footprints are different. Couple hours later, something walked by, messed it up, stuff like that. So there's always stuff you can do better and better and better. And after every investigation outing, I always kick myself in the foot because I know I could have done something better. I could have done this better. I should have looked around more. I should have done this. I should have done that. And it's a lot different than people who are, playing Bigfoot researcher and just trying to get experiences. And there's nothing wrong with getting experience. I think people want to learn the truth, and many people haven't experienced stuff because they want to experience stuff because that's confirmation for them. I think in terms of getting evidence and having an encounter, right? You'll hear people, I had a camera, but I couldn't put it up because when they need that first experience, the second experience, third experience to get used to that situation, to be able to function in the situation, get the camera up, get the camera ready, start filming. Okay, wow, this stuff's going on. Okay, deep breath. Let's get this camera up. Let's get evidence. And so you can see that people's experience out there, even if they've been looking for Bigfoot a lot, when it comes to actually a real experience, um, everything goes out the window practically. People just very rarely function right. They're caught up in the moment. Um, it's just very hard to explain. That's why I tell people just get out there. You can't experience Bigfoot from behind the computer in your house and stuff. If you're able to do it safely and stuff. I'm not suggesting people just randomly go out there when you're disabled and things like that, but there's only one way to experience, and Jeff will tell you from his experience, and like like you'll know, like reality is like you'll know, and like so when it happens again, like and when you bring people who've never experienced stuff and like stuff happens and you recognize it, like it's people, grown men, big guys, everyone freaks out, everyone instinctively shuts down, and it's different. So you can only get over that through going out there, actually having shit happen to you, being fucking scared out of your mind, getting over that, and then functioning in the moment. So I'm not. And so when people say, "Oh, I've experienced Bigfoot. I have a lot of experience. I've encountered Bigfoots like this," and then when they go to Florida or they go somewhere else and you're with them, and shit actually starts happening, and then you look at them and they ain't acting like they've experienced this before, then they're fake. People are lying. People are faking experiences. People are exaggerating what's going on. But when it actually happens and it's significant, and you're getting yelled at, or you're getting a tree knock, or something gets pushed over right next to you and there's no wind, like um, you don't need to exaggerate it. Like your body and everything will tell you. And going out there and experience it is how you get over the bush willies, or how you are able to understand if you're getting the bush willies, if you're getting overworked up. It's just you're just out there in the dark. Everything is creeping and crawling and snapping at trees as Bigfoot. Or if you are able to relax yourself and understand, hear every sound, and know that not every sound's Bigfoot. Stay calm, stuff. So when stuff actually happens, you're able to think there and look and think. It's like, okay, is this something or is this nothing? Because there's a lot of sounds out there. There's a lot of critters walking around. There's stuff going on all the time. But when it comes to determining if it's Bigfoot or if it's not, you have to be clear headed, and you kind of have to just, well, really experience it. Get out there, experience nature. I would suggest hunting. I would suggest just learning about nature, viewing animals and stuff, so you can understand what animals sound like out there. So, I mean, people get tricked all the time, and they want to believe so badly that they lie to themselves. And they lie to themselves. They'll lie to you. They'll lie to the viewers. They want to make money. They want to get monetized. They want to get all these donations for equipment, and then they don't do nothing with it, right? Right? They get all this money, and then what happens? Years go by, and it's like, well, we're still trying. And I'm just thinking, man, $50,000 and you guys got all this equipment and you guys like it's just like if I had a $50,000 piece of equipment or could spend, it's like, bro, we'd be pushing it hardcore to be getting something. It's something that you could prove and evidence and show. They're not just bullshit, not bullshit excuses either. Because if people have drones, if they have these really good night vision and thermals and stuff, then what the fuck's the excuse of why they're not going out there? It's either they don't go out there at all, so they don't leave the house. They're not going out there, which happens majority of the time. They're just not going out there, right? You donate to these people, you donate to them because you think that they're actually out there all the time, but they're not. So that's why they're not getting any footage because they're not out there. Uh, R2, they go out there all the time, but they're not in the spot. They're faking stuff. It's a fantasy. It's not reality. So of course, when they get real good equipment that would show reality, it doesn't show anything because there's nothing going on. Um, or they're just an area that has no Sasquatches, and they're just kind of shit out of luck right there. And when they go out to this area, they're maybe missing to where the Sasquatches are not there at that moment. There's a lot of variables to go into place, but because I could go to this area all the time. If you're out there every single night for a whole year, I think more often than not you could see like you know when possible activity would be coming around. When I was a teenager and had activity a lot and had my first encounter and stuff, to me it seemed like the I would hear noises, I would hear these calls, I would possibly get more activity every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks it'd be hot for 3 days, 2 days to 3 days, a little bit longer. And then it'd be about 2 more weeks of silence of nothing really going on, not finding anything. And then about another every 2 weeks, for another couple days, there'd be activity, it'd be hot, maybe me and my brother had stuff thrown at us waiting for the bus in the morning and stuff like that. Um, so that I kind of felt like obviously if they're migratory and they're hunter gatherer type of thing, they're constantly moving and coming back around. So if you go out there randomly, you could just miss them. They just might be rotating through and out of that area. So but if you go out there consecutively all the time, more often than not, I think if you spend 40 nights out there, as many as you can, you should, if you're in the right spot, notice activity, notice potentially calls. If you're actually in the actual woods and stuff and calling for them, bringing them next to you, I think you should be able to pick up something because they're very curious and stuff. So if you have individuals that are curious and want to try to interact, they will try to interact. I've been working in a place for a couple years now, a number of years, and we went to there last night. Had some pretty interesting stuff, but it's been a buildup. It takes a lot. It's not like even now. It's been years and stuff, and I kind of get frustrated. Like, why the fuck they don't just do more, right? Instead of all this like little shit. Go up to the UP for a week and practically had these things on fucking camera with Jason Kenzie. Like it only was a week, and they showed themselves to me and Jason. Like we were watching them for a couple minutes, pointing at them. Like they knew everything. That was just amazing. But they knew we were watching them. They understood that we could see them. They let us see them. That was a week up there. So I mean, they're all different. You could have ones that you spend a couple days with, and hey, they want to let you know that they're actually there, and that's what they did. And it was one of the most craziest experience I've had. It was the top three is is that experience with Jason Kenzie, myself of the UP. That's probably my number one. Um, in Florida for the 168, filming the spider crawler that crawls across the trail, which is I did film on Carrie's equipment for the 168. It's on the hard drives. It's out there. People have it. I want it to be shown. It needs to be shown. That was pretty freaky experience seeing that, and then being yelled at by the male and the female arguing with him to not rip my head off. That was pretty intense. Those are the top three experiences, and full blown confirmation to me. Don't need I don't need a fucking scientist to declare it real for me. That it's real. That's reality, and it's pretty scary and dangerous. Um, and I just laugh at people who are a little bit more skeptical, and they should be skeptical. But I just laugh when people just don't go out there. They don't experience stuff because if they experienced getting yelled at, they experienced having shit just snap and crack and stuff being thrown at them, they'd change tune quickly. They might not know what it is, but I'm telling you, they've changed their tune quickly. And I think that's why a lot of people seek experiences because they want some major situation happening to them that they want slapped in their face for them to believe, or at least partially believe. Um, More often than not, the evidence and stuff that we've experienced and we've experiencing lately is it's subtle. It's the most subtlest of things, like leaving something in front of you as you're walking down this trail for you to notice. Like it's the most subtle thing you would like most people would walk over it. We actually have you actually have consecutive and different occasions of this happening, of us finding things out of place on a trail of where we're walking. So it is um, very subtle, very unnoticeable. And my theory on this is if these things are placing an object on a trail for you to find in front of you as you walk to the trail, then they have to be set up to watch you notice the object. Why would they set up something for you to find on the trail for you to notice if they're not there to watch you notice it, right? So I'm probably thinking my theory is they set up, they place stuff on the trail. They want to see if you notice it or not, to see if your observation skills picks it up it's out something out of the ordinary. And it seems deliberate. Now we have evidence of this. It seems pretty deliberate, you know, finding a chunk of wood where it's frosted over on the ground, right? It's all frosted over. We found it flipped over in front of us on the trail, and it's not frosted on the bottom, right? It's not frosted on the bottom. You flip it over, it's frosted. It doesn't piece of wood doesn't frost on the bottom first, and doesn't something had to put it there, something had to tip it over, something had to move it, and we found it pretty recently after, so because the frost wasn't developing on the other side yet. Now, of course, this doesn't amount to Bigfoot. This doesn't amount to proving anything. This doesn't really move the ball down the field. But as a little breadcrumb, it's very interesting how the objects placed in front of you along the trail for you to find keeps coming up, at least in my research. I'm sure there's other people out there who have found the same thing. And I think it's something going on. It's very interesting. I think there's reasons why we need to study these breadcrumbs of what's going on. If they are actually doing it, then what's the purpose of it? It's very interesting stuff, and of course, it opens it opens the door of brainstorming, of wondering, and honestly, just theories and opinions, and what are they doing, why are they doing, and stuff. Of course, because no one knows. I didn't get a picture of the other side, but that's okay. Yeah, so we're an hour and about an hour and 30 minutes. I think we'll probably shut it down here pretty soon with Brent not coming on. And I wasn't really prepared for a show without him necessarily, as you guys can see. We're not going to go too much longer, but I'll have evidence up for you guys to see next week, and hopefully have audio for you guys to show you guys, and also the hopefully the crashing. I know that the first crashing sound when we found this wood, you hear one, but even when I amplify it and stuff, you guys probably won't hear it unless you're wearing really good headphones, and then it's just a light tap sound, so it's not anything good and distinctive like I would like in your face. But the other one, this massive crack, is loud, doesn't need amplification at all. It's right next to us, and there's other stuff going on before that that I have to hopefully work on and to bring out for you guys. So I'm excited about that. Um, because it does seem like some things were going on, and of course, we'll just have to keep at it and look. Of course, with my girlfriend being out there, my partner and stuff, she she actually it's very interesting and stuff. Having being going out to this place, bringing her out, this would be the first and only woman I've ever brought out into the woods there, and it seems like it actually is uh, amping things up. Like at having a woman in the woods is does seems to um, increase activity, at least what we're finding, which is very interesting. A little unnerving, a little bit, but um, very very interesting. But in the situation where we were having crashing sounds on the other side of the creek, and just taking it easy, just I was calling out to them. Actually, I was actually because do these things speak English? Do they not, or do they mind speak? I mean, if this thing actually responds in English, that would be amazing. But I called out to them to, we need more proof. And I said this little stuff ain't good enough. Like we need more proof of stuff. We got a significant knock shortly after that, which is interesting. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean correlation. But it's interesting. I think it just needs to be repeated a bunch of times. But once that crack happened, I was like, all right, come on, let's just told her let's just keep walking a little bit easy, because it was pretty intense right there for the moment. And then if we move to a different area and they follow and there's still crashing sounds, there's still wood knocks and stuff, then it's kind of more like positive that this stuff is out of the ordinary. And I have found that I've chased after these things. Like when you have an activity, um, I believe it's better to acknowledge it and then calmly just walk away and just try to make them follow you and keep engaging with you instead of chasing them. Chasing them, you could have some bad responses. You can have you can make them fucking pissed off at you that you're chasing them with guns and stuff, or you potentially chase after young ones. Uh, you could potentially be led somewhere else and be ambushed by potentially these things. These things aren't always friendly. Um, I mean, just look around at every cat and dog. Not every pet that you see is friendly, even though it's a nice friendly cat. Sometimes you meet or you have a friend over or something, and the animal just doesn't like that person. So you might there's a lot of circumstances that can come up. You might it's so, and also, you're chasing after things. It's a little bit more an aggressive tactic. A little bit more passive, easygoing tactic would be to acknowledge what's going on, and then just whatever, and just keep going on and doing your thing, and then um, maybe try to invite them to keep coming on and following you. So like they are the ones that need to like follow you and make stuff happen if stuff's going to happen. Like, you're not chasing after them, trying to force something. Like, you're kind of like, in a way, tricking them to make them do something for you. You're trying to make them feel like, oh my God, this guy like acknowledged us, and now he's not even he doesn't want to he don't he's ignoring us. Like, hey, let's come on, let's go mess with him a little bit more. Like, that's kind of my mindset of let them follow you. Acknowledge them, but then just go somewhere else, and just you're we're trying different techniques. We're trying to think outside of the box, because obviously the fucking box is not working. I don't want to waste many more years of the same old ring around of doing nothing. So yeah, she honestly she is more of a fucking has more of a backbone of being a potential researcher than a lot of people I've met. Grown ass men have been more scared in situations I've been in than what she's experienced with me. And very clear headed, very calm, and a great researcher. Hopefully, we'll have on video more, and along with the journey, and hopefully on here and stuff. But um, yeah, this year's gonna be great. This year's great. It's been great already. Honestly, I just can't wait for to see what happens. I'm so excited and stuff. All this new equipment coming through, and hopefully we're going to be having a successful conference. We're going to have a good year, get good evidence for you guys. Hopefully we'll throw maybe some campouts and stuff to do for people who want to join. Excited. Going to be kids are finally old enough this year. I think we're going to be doing some family camping, some non Bigfoot related stuff, but getting the kids out in the woods, getting the kids introduced to nature, and teaching them about everything is important, because they are the future Lost Cryptids Conservatory team members, and and maybe future researchers if they want to do that. Of course, um, I'm just excited. So it's going to be we got amazing stuff planned. So private stuff planned for just solo stuff, family stuff, public stuff. Uh, we're gearing up good. So it's honestly just a matter of time. We will slowly but surely, consistently, hopefully bring you breadcrumbs of evidence to show you guys, to make you guys wonder and think, use that brain of yours, and hopefully just get better and better evidence, and get better at what we're doing. So, and have fun doing it, and take it seriously too. But it's kind of a mixed bag. I take this very seriously, but I'm a fun, chill guy. But at the same time, if it's time to be an asshole, it's an easy flip of the switch. And if shit needs to be serious, then it needs to be serious. Yeah. Yep. And that is definitely why everyone needs to gather any and all evidence of potential Sasquatch stuff or of actual when you know of real stuff is going on, even if everyone doesn't believe you. Save that evidence. Don't throw it away. Don't give up on it because when it is proven, like Jeff says, science will definitely likely and will have to examine this stuff. They will have to listen to the people with experience. They'll have to check out this stuff because you know what? There will be gold nuggets in these breadcrumbs for these scientists. Um, People who've had experiences, people who actually know that these things are real. We already know the day is coming where they have to accept it. They have to change everything. Like we already know. We're just waiting. It's just a waiting game for us. Like we fully understand the reality of what's in the woods. Yeah, I think Brent was gonna we were gonna talk about a little bit about that, about last week's show. We'll probably talk a little bit about that and stuff like that. Maybe have a little discussion, a little bit of difference of opinions and stuff like that, and talk about a bunch of anything that you guys bring up. So that'll probably be next week's show if Brent's able to come on. I usually don't do Sunday shows, right? So we went out last night. That's why we didn't do a show last night. I think Brent Sunday is probably a little bit harder for him. And so next week should be Saturday. Um, I think I'm gonna go out Friday night, so it'll be Saturday, or it'll be on Friday night, and I'm gonna go out Saturday. So, um, yeah, pretty excited. Pretty excited. I'm a little bummed out that winter's not been that good. I really wish that we had uh, major winter storms because I want to go out in the middle of them to look for Bigfoot. We've only had like one, two, barely one, barely two. Um, Very mild, warm winter. So I love winter. I love going out in winter. I love hunting in winter. I love looking for Bigfoot in winter. It's a beautiful, peaceful, just landscape when that first winter storm hits and everything's just a winter wonderland. It is really beautiful and just. I also believe that Sasquatches are roaming around during the blizzard um, for a number of reasons. If so, let's say snow is already on the ground, um, Bigfoots. My theory is Bigfoots don't travel that much in winter because you can follow their tracks back to where they came from. Right? It's easy. It's pretty easy to follow the 17-inch footprints in the snow. But if a blizzard or snowstorm or snow is about to occur, and like other normal natural animals can understand when storms fronts are coming, when the barometric pressure drops, when things are changing and it's about to rain, it's about to storm. Bigfoots probably sense the same thing and will start moving around just before the blizzard or during the blizzard because it will cover up their footprints so they will not get tracked back to where they're sleeping at. Or if there's been a lot of snow and it's going to warm up and melt all the snow away, as soon as the melting starts happening and stuff, that next night, Bigfoot are going to probably be out roaming around and stuff, um, because they don't have to worry about people tracking them and stuff. So I personally believe as a theory that they gather up resources when in winter, and they gather them up so when there's large chunks of a week or two of no snow, of no new snow, but the ground is leaving tracks everywhere and it's not melting away, it's not distorting them yet, that they need to hunker down and wait until the climate changes so they can go out and not leave evidence to be found. It's my personal belief, and what I've found, it points to that. Um, And food doesn't rot in winter. You got a freezer out there. It freezes. It stays fresh. It's funny. 15 more minutes. I got some messages, I think. Yeah, we're working on the Bigfoot conference. Hopefully we'll have a date for you guys soon. And that's going to be pretty fun. But more importantly, I think trying to get some people out after the conference actually in the field, because that's where I personally think is the most important place to be, and finding Bigfoot is being out in the woods. So hopefully we'll have some people from the conference, researchers most importantly, but the public show up and experience stuff safely. And yeah, so I always joke to my girlfriend, my woman, that she would be great out in the woods leading people, because she actually has a good head on her shoulders and doesn't think everything's bloody Bigfoot when we hear something, and doesn't get scared, and actually is I can see in the dark and actually lead people and stuff, and has this common sense about things. It's awesome stuff. So hopefully you'll see her in the future, uh, not only following along but probably leading some stuff too, because she has a really good knack for the mindset of this. Not being too scared out there. Being able to conduct yourself, being smart enough to have that camera rolling, filming and going and taking pictures all the time, instead of just walking around doing nothing. You got all this gear and tech and you're not doing nothing with it. So it's great. And hopefully we get some good activity. And we are actively looking for, and she reminded me too of people that are missing in some of these places that we're at, that we should be mindful of finding anything, because there's potential of finding a body and stuff. And so we try to be on the lookout for things like that too. It's not just trying to find Bigfoot. We're not just enjoying the wilderness, but there's some areas that it'd be very nice for the families if we could help them out. Just because maybe you just look behind a bush, or you go 10 more feet and just look behind that bush, you might find something. Some of the missing people cases here in Michigan have not sit well with me, um, especially as the areas that we've been in. Like, it doesn't sit well with me, especially if we've had activity in the area and stuff. Maybe not saying it's the cause and effect and correlation stuff, but it doesn't sit well with me where we have a number of crazy experiences happening and there's like missing people like in a circle around you for 10 miles. Like, it doesn't sit well, like, knowing that after the fact. um, I think there's a lot of interesting things in the Bigfoot community that will come out sooner, hopefully sooner rather than later. And one of those is probably the government's involvement in the Bigfoot community. Um, Whether people want to believe it or not, it seems like there's a lot of people who formerly still or work for the government and are Bigfoot researchers. They're in groups. Maybe they're associated with groups. It's very interesting stuff, and I think it'd be pretty interesting if we found out exactly who has those backgrounds and which groups they are in, and exactly why are they in the community now, and if they have top secret clearances and stuff that they can't talk about with Bigfoot, because there are certainly people who out there, when you ask them certain things, they can't tell you because they've signed stuff. So I think that it'd be interesting to find out how many of those people are in this community and why. Because over my experiences, I've it's been interesting to find out from people, and I guess if I believe the sources who told me, it's very interesting. At the very least, there seems to be a monitoring program going on, which is not hard to do because everything's public, openly public usually. But there seems to be a really good interest in monitoring and in what we're doing, and I just wonder why. Like, what's so important to what are we doing that's so important for them to pry their eyes on us? When shouldn't they have more than enough data and experience and history in the subject that they don't need shit from us? Um, just more things to ponder. Throwing a little bit conspiracy ball out there for you guys to dribble around with. But one that is actually, I certainly believe, and I think if we find out more basis in reality, then not. Instances of the UFO, UFOs being shot down in Alaska, UFO being shot down in Montana, and just today there's a UFO shot down over Lake Michigan, right? Very interesting. Um, very weird how it's not top secret or anything. It's very public. It's very uh, it's allowed to be public, of course, because if it was real, like real shit going on and stuff, if it was meant to be top secret, you wouldn't be hearing about it. So um, it's very interesting. Maybe there could be dropping some hints about stuff. Maybe I think there's a lot more going on to this in this world and in our continent on this side of the world than what the average citizen knows and can fathom and probably is ready to face. And that's probably why there's just some things they don't want you to know. All for national security purposes, of course. But I don't. Yeah. Yep. So, if there's any other questions, last questions, things like that, we're going to probably uh, ask and do it. But we're gonna be getting off here. So I see. I see someone's gonna try to join, but I see. I walks is trying to get on, but I can't. I have to come back or something. Oh, what happened? Yeah, I don't know. Um, um, huh. Try to join next week, if you can. We're gonna do the show next Saturday. Join up a little bit earlier. We'll have you on and stuff. I'm about to shut the stream down anyways, and it's not doing it. Anyways, sorry for that. Join up next week. We'll talk. If Brent's here, we'll have a little discussion. Me and him, we're going to talk about, and then I'll show some evidence. We'll open the stream up for people to talk about and join, and talk about whatever you want to talk about, things like that. What the fuck I was going to say? Hopefully, show you guys some good evidence. There's some videos that we've had in the back burner that I'll probably get to show you guys. The Florida stuff, I'm kind of waiting, honestly, for some footage to be dropped, but I might be waiting too long for that. So I think I'll just present it to you guys as is. And there's there's a little bit of activity that we get at the end that has never been. I got the hiccups. Has never been seen on in the public, and of some rock throwing and some other noises and stuff going on. So stay tuned for that. We getting off here, looking up, getting some food first, and then check out this audio and the ghost audio we got. Pretty excited and stuff. So if you guys want to help support us, all you have to do is just keep our best keep our thoughts and can't be talking. I'm getting tired. If you want to support us, the very least thing you could do is actually just pray for us and pray that we're safe out there and that we do good in life and stuff. That's the most simplest thing that you could do for us, and that's basically all I would ask for. If you want to do more, find a way, I guess. I put information up in previous stuff, but there's money's not important. What's really important is taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, being healthy. If you're going out there having fun, going on an adventure, be safe about it. But the truth is important, and standing up for the truth, finding out the truth, never backing down from people who don't believe the truth is far more important in everyday life than just trying to find Bigfoot. There's a lot of for those of you who are on my Facebook and stuff, I very libertarian about my views and very interesting stuff, and I very much care about individual freedoms and the truth. And I believe that right now everyone is suffering here, and our health is shit. We eat you just look at the grocery, look at the food that you guys buy. Like, we all know it's poison. We all know it's shit. We all know it's processed. Like, we're all lying to ourselves. Okay, like, there's some truths that need to be faced, and people need to face the reality. And there's a lot more things going on that people need to wake up to. Getting healthy is really important because that's everything, man. Spending time with your families and kids and stuff is everything. And I think more now than ever, you should maybe talk to your family member you haven't talked to in a while. Maybe you're having a little you haven't talked to your dad in a couple of years. You should probably call and say hi and stuff. Life's too short to go on going to live with regret and stuff after the fact. It's a lot easier to pick up the phone and say sorry than just regret it for years and years and years and stuff. And also, get out and take risks. Don't be afraid to do something that might be risky stuff. I think a lot of people are holding themselves back in this bubble of, and modern society doesn't help with this. It really constrains us into this cage and molds us into wearing a suit and being strict, um and I think people need to be a little bit more open and flowing and live life a little bit more um honestly in how they want to live. Everyone's differently, and not everyone is. I think everyone's flame of passion gets quenched out in this modern day of life. So if you can escape that and find your passion and stand up and don't fall victim to the suit and tie, let's say, um, because when you get locked into that, you don't. Bigfoot is just it's whatever. It's not real. The magic of the world is not doesn't gleam so bright anymore. And I think people have lost sight of that and need to find that again. And need to work on themselves and work on their families and keep them healthy and spread the magic of life still, and not this gray urbanized modern crap. you know I like reading books as kids and reading medieval ideas of folklore and legends of elves and all this stuff, this whole magical world. So like imagination of things, and now it's like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Oh, just like scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and it's. I really fear what's going to happen in the future because I'm telling you right now, these kids and stuff. I even see it with my kids and the TV programs they have. Like this generation coming up is not going to be the same generation that we grew up on, that we grew up into became. And so that's kind of why I'm mentioning this. I want to get the family out, get the kids out more, get out in the woods more, get off the phone, get healthy and stuff, because this modern society and all the food is just cripples you, man. It just stunts your growth. It stunts you. Like, I mean, everyone knows the food is processed and it's shit, right? Like, come on. Why does everyone have cancer? I don't know. No one knows, right? Just no one knows. It's not the food. It's not the chemical uses on use and everything. Why is autism in like 1 in 57? No one knows. Who cares? Doesn't matter, right? Here's the next iPhone that just came out. Everyone buy that. Um, so if anyone's on my Facebook page, don't expect that you're going to be on my Facebook page to find Bigfoot. You're probably going to get. You might get upset. You might be upset because you voted for Trump, and you might be upset because you voted for Biden. I don't play favorites. I don't have sides. You know. uh, I've given this warning because I've had people who come on my Facebook and they don't like that. They don't whatever. So I kind of have to mention that too, because I've had some people say, hey, if you're political and you lean right or you lean left, I don't give a fuck, because to me they're all pedophiles going to the Epstein Island, flying on the fucking jet. So what difference does it make, right? Like good old Hillary Clinton said, what difference does it make? Um, there's just so much more going on than we could possibly imagine, that you know sometimes you do have to sit back and cherish what's around you and go on the adventure and stuff. um yeah, because it's so important, is have a just try to be better. Everyone's I think we're kind of getting to the deep end now, I guess. The most simplest things people can do to change the world is simply change yourself, be a better person, be uh a gentleman, be a person with morality that cares about more about the morality of a situation than what's the law. Like slavery was a law. That doesn't make it right. Putting the Jews into gas chambers was an order and a law, and authority was given to people, and if you had to obey and stuff, that doesn't mean it's morality. It doesn't make it right. Does it make it okay because the majority says so? Um, so sometimes people have to stand up, and then if you are the only person standing up facing 1,000 people, oh well, stand up, be strong, face the truth, because it won't change because 1,000 people say no. And I talk about these things because we see these things going on a lot in our country. We've seen a lot of the past couple of years of, and we see it out in other countries too. Um, what can happen with people? Here's another example of the prison experiment. Right, prison experiment gave authorities to half of the half of the participants became the guards, prison guards. The other half became prisoners. And what did end up happening in a very short period of time? The authority figures got so power hungry and drunk, it just escalated and to skyrocketed. I mean, the exponential growth of escalation of violence, of authority, of power, being drunk in power and stuff. And so uh, people get like that. People can get like that in all sorts of arenas. People can get like that in the Bigfoot arena. You know, you know, presenting themselves as the final authority. The skeptics, they all know it all. Trying to bully other people down because they are perceived to have the qualifications to know it all and have the rubber stamp of approval. Kind of like what the guest that we had on wasn't really a guest; it was just the asshole that came on. Um, Rubber stamping everything as, oh well, that's fake or that's a bear. Or you don't know what the fuck you're talking about because I've read more books than you, type of thing. Getting power hungry and drunk with power and of self worth that it just blinds people. It blinds people to think that they're better than everyone, that they can walk on other people. They take advantage of people's kindness. We see that all the time. These con artists take advantage of people's money, of people's kindness, of people's generosity, of friendships, of family. Um, and for what? For a little bit of money? From a little, no one's making money off Bigfoot. No one's a billionaire. No one's a millionaire. So what money is worth it that people are keep ruining friendships and families and father and son shits, like especially over Bigfoot, just because it's filled with backstabbers, no integrity, no character, people with no morality, no morals, no honor, no sense of friendship, no. If someone gives you the word, that doesn't fucking mean nothing anymore. When people act like that in this community, why would anyone trust them? Why would anyone trust the community? You know? And then people want to act like, oh well, that person's my friend, so just because something like that happened, it's okay. Well, it's okay. They're my friend. They didn't happen to me. Okay, but it's okay. Hoaxer's a hoaxer until he's your friend. Then it's okay. And I was blinded, and we let people slide on certain things that we shouldn't. You know, maybe because oh, this is my friend, so you excuse him and stuff. But no, we need to step up. We need to have a better morality and character about ourselves. I think a lot, and who we hang around with, and who we um, give a microphone to and let them speak and stuff because there's people on here who are only being nice and friendly to save face, to play politics, to get viewers, to play ball so they get something out of it. I think there's too many of that. That's kind of why I don't have a problem calling out people because what I have people telling me, "Hey, don't call out certain people, don't make a fuss, don't rile up feathers of these people because somehow there's this perception that they have power to control you, what happens to your research, who's gonna look at your research and take you seriously. Like that's just fantasy shit that people are making up in their fucking heads. Like who why would you worry about someone who's like 3,000 miles away, who's not out in the woods with you, who doesn't pay for anything? Like, oh, he's gonna talk shit about you to people. Ooh, the con artist is gonna convince other people to not like you, to take you seriously because you don't like him and you don't like each other. Like, it's like so childish. It's like, I laugh at it because it's like, okay, I guess. I mean, if a person is so gullible to believe that con artist and not look at the evidence or meet you or take you seriously or have their own interactions to determine for themselves, I think it just, shows their own character too. And I also think that everyone also has no common sense about that too. And trusting, just because your friend tells you, hey, guy's a fucking asshole, you should, keep that in mind, but also, what's the reason behind it? And there's just too many con artists. There's just too many of these people I see that are not genuine. They're not honest. They're not. I mean, if they're acting like this with Bigfoot and they're lying about hoaxing and you don't want to get in business with them. You don't want to have a group with them. You don't want to do anything with them because if they'll lie about the smallest of things, they'll lie about the biggest of things, the most important of things. So they'll lie about the nonchalant shit that don't fucking matter, shit that's not important. If they waste that much time and energy to do that, then the big things they are 100% going to lie on, fabricate, over exaggerate, and no, that is just completely opposite of what we try to do and want to do. We are 100% try to be about integrity, honesty, because I mean, without those two things and being out there, then that everything else is meaningless. You don't have the integrity to be honest. You don't have the integrity to admit when you're wrong or to, I mean, shit, there's stuff that happens out there. It's like, I want it to be Bigfoot. It'd be easy as fuck to just paint it as Bigfoot, try to take your hand and guide you as this is Bigfoot. Please believe me and force you to believe it. And I think, it'd be easy because you know, my integrity that I try to show and present to you guys would believe that, whatever I show was 100% honest. But if someone had a nefarious side and they're frustrated, they're not getting evidence anymore, and they know a lot of people trust them. Oh man, I just fake this one thing. I just fabricate this one time. No one will know. Pretty soon they eat it up, and it's like, wow, I can just maybe keep doing this every once in a while. Then it becomes more and more and more, and then pretty soon you're a hoaxer, and you have no integrity, no character. Your morals and your everything about you is just thrown out the wall. You have no pride about yourself that you can't even stay true to what like you are out there for. Like that's for me. I'm out there to find the truth and stuff. So like I'm not. I have too much pride to be a piece of shit. Want to be hoaxer to fake shit out there. Like Like you giving up. You're so weak that you're giving up the search and you have to fake shit. Like you know, like don't worry about it. Just go home, sit on the couch. You're out of the fight. We want people who are picking up the bat, picking up the gloves, putting on the gloves and ready to get in the ring and fight. To keep pushing on and through the struggles, through the people, the naysayers, through all the bullshit that we wade through because we want the fucking truth. Not going to give up and trade all that for fucking hoaxes, for views, for people to like or to have people's respect and stuff, as if that is more important than going out there and finding the fucking truth. So we stand firm in that belief, and we do hold people to a different standard sometimes, and some people, um, if you've been doing this for decades and decades, and you're in shape, you're not disabled, you should be doing everything, and then why you have thousands of dollars worth of equipment? How come little old broke me is getting all this stuff and getting little breadcrumbs, trying to do stuff, and you can't do nothing, can't get anything? Like, what the fuck's the problem? Let's analyze that and figure out what's going on to help you or expose you. Because, you know, we're not wasting money, years of doing nothing again. It's irritating. I have waited on other people to find shit, you know. As a teenager, having my experiences. Oh, there's other groups out there. I'm one person trying to get as a teenager, trying to get my friends into, hey, go outside Bigfooting with me. No one will do this. It's all on my own. There's other Bigfoot groups out there, early 2000s. Oh, the Bluff Creek Project. Oh, those guys set up cameras, doing all this. I'm sure they'll find them. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. And, of course, why not? Back in the day when Bluff Creek Project was first started, and maybe I should have told this, Stephen, I was one of those, a younger man, younger teenager and stuff, jumped on that bandwagon of like, oh, my God, these guys are actually doing the work, going to be doing the stuff, getting equipment on. And then it's like, fucking decades, 2 decades later, it's like they still talk about basically the same plan, the same findings, the same shit. Like, there's a couple other people that say that too. It's like they're stuck in this, like, you guys have been saying the same stuff for 5 years. It's like, you, is there anything new? What are you doing? It's been 5 years. You're still telling us the same stuff you said 5 years ago. Have you even started to do that plan, or because you still talk about it like you haven't done it or strategizing about it? So yeah, I might call those people out because what the fuck are you doing? I get a little amped up about it. I might become a little bit more, have a little bit more sensitive choice of words that people might not like, because I want to try to get those people to, like, hey, get that flame going again. Like, are you not passionate about this? What's going on? Are you just not going out? What's going on? You frustrated because shit ain't going on? Like, I want people to get better, be better, work harder, have a passion about this again, because you can lose passion about this. Like, it grows stale. Shit doesn't happen. You hit a plateau. You deal with jackasses too much. Like, it wears on you. That's why I took a break. It's good to take a break, get a refresh start. And when you just have to sometimes, and people can lose that spark, and they don't want to go out. They don't want to do that stuff. And we need everyone out in the woods that we can, because the more people we have out there, even if they're fucking assholes, it's more chances of us actually finding evidence, maybe potentially proving stuff. So that's why, even if even if people are out there, they don't know what they're doing, and they post pictures of bushes and circles of red circles and stuff, and they're drinking the Kool-Aid of woo. They're out there, they're trying. They might actually get something that is real and legit. What they're doing is 100% better than sitting reading a fucking book, being at your computer, never leaving the house. They might be doing everything 100% wrong. They might not know what they're doing completely at all. 99% of everything they ever would show you is 100% nothing because they don't know anything, but they're trying. And there might be that 1% or 0.1% chance that they show you something that is actually fucking real, legit something. They're out there trying. They're not doing it the right way, and they might believe that they're aliens who mind speak to them, and they can, they live little stick figurines for them and stuff. You know, one day they might go out to that fucking location and get the new Patterson film that is undeniable. We shouldn't shit on those people so much that they just flat out won't go in the woods anymore because they get bullied. Like that's just awful. Uh, if you're gonna bully people, bully the ones who say they go out there and they fucking don't. Bully the people who are doing half-ass work. Bully the people who presents themselves as experts or presents themselves as these fucking researchers out there doing shit. But they're not doing shit. They're not proving it. They don't show you nothing. Um, let's call them out. Let's pick on those people. Maybe because if they pick on them and those guys who need to get picked on a little bit, and I'm saying this because they get that fire going again. They can get pissed off at some of us enough that what they want to prove us wrong. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna go out there and do the work. They're gonna try to do harder stuff, hopefully the right way and not hoaxing. Um, put up or shut up, right? People have, they have these encounters of they're face to face with a female and the boobs are in the face, and we have audio, and then put up or shut up. You have all these experiences. Take a camera out there. Oh well, it doesn't happen. They won't do it with the camera. They won't. That's bullshit. Because I take a camera out all the time. I take a fucking gun out, and we have shit happen. So that's just a lie. Put up or shut up. The people who are saying they're having all these encounters, people who are saying like they talk to these things, they face to face, like put up or shut up, and not some red circle around pareidolia. Like get audio evidence, get video evidence. Like that's what we try to do. We try to film a whole encounter. So if like we're filming and shit's breaking, crashing through the fucking woods, like it's gonna be pretty clear to fucking show you guys that. Instead of, oh well, we had all this crashing and stuff going on, but I could only get a still image of a picture, of one picture or two pictures of faces in a bush. I couldn't capture any of the audio of the crashing and crazy shit that was going on, but you gotta trust on those two pictures with the red circle around it. Like, come on, that's just bullshit. Don't take fucking pictures, take video. You take 60 pictures per second. Why would anyone take pictures? Just take video. So anytime people have experiences and they, you know, you get everyone, y'all, it's all on you too, because it's all the viewers and people who don't have enough common sense to fucking know con artists when they're seeing one or hearing one, or know bullshit when it's being told to them, or evidence wise, that's a little bit different because if evidence is it's a little bit different. But when you hear someone talking to you and telling you the story and stuff, you should have a radar if they're lying to you or not. You should have a bullshit detector. Maybe people don't have a good enough one because they haven't dealt with, unfortunately, negative people in their life. So they don't have a good detector. Unfortunately, I have. Um, so just be mindful of that. Be mindful when you're out there listening to people and they're telling you shit, but they can't show you nothing. Like, why can't they show you anything? They have a great experience. They can, they do all this stuff, but when they go to your camp out into your area, well, they have all these excuses of why they can't go out and do research, right? It's too hot out. It's too cold out. There's too many bugs out. I'm too tired. Why the fuck did you waste our time coming here then? With that, guys, I'm gonna get off and stuff. I think I've been ranting and raving the last little bit, a little bit too much and stuff. So we're gonna cut it off short. We'll have another show next week, hopefully with Brent coming on. I'll show you evidence. We'll get some other people going on the show, and hopefully you guys enjoyed everything. If you guys want to take a look at good evidence that we have, I would suggest Jason Kenzie and Blake Deuscher's Bigfoot Encounter is the name of the video. You guys can watch in 4K a real Bigfoot encounter captured, and with eye shine around the 7.5 minute mark and 10.5 minute mark. There is eye shine captured in 4K. All right, guys. I will see you on the other side.